So Zoo's kit is out, and it's very good. I like it a lot. And finally, what I've been asking for fucking 2 years happened. We got a Carol Poison unit. However, Monkey's Paw. Huge Monkey's Paw curl. It is a real Carol support poison unit. Now, she is generally a peer support. There is no fucking, oh, if you invest in her like G Murphy, she kills the team and does damage. Oh, it's caster. You just killed a team as a support. Her kit is designed mostly as a support unit, poison trigger applier. And that has its issues. If she was a poison DPS, I'll rate her A tier or higher. Right now, the highest possible grade I can give her is B tier. She's probably gonna end up B tier on my tier list by the end of the review when I test her out in practice. Now, I will go over why that is the case despite me praising her kit and everything. Now, let's go to my tier list. So, this is why. So, she's going on the support side, and currently I have 7 units in B tier. So, that means in order for her to qualify in B tier, she has to be a better choice for most players than one of these units, which is moving down to C tier. Now, the most likely candidates to move down is not or Goliath. However, both of these are more general use than Zoo, which is why it pains me. It's probably, I don't want it to end up a C tier situation because their kit's actually good. However, there's just too many good support units already. And unlike other tier lists, I have a cap of how many are on each tier, generally based on how many Awakers there are in the game. Now, in order for her to place this, she has to perform better, generally, than either Not or Goliath. Because Karen is, actually, I'll put Karen up for debate. I'll put Karen up there. Because you cannot argue that Pikmin is worse than her. Pikmin is going to be a better, more generous support because she gives strength. She's a poison trigger unit. And that's very limited with the amount of units we currently have. If she was a poison DPS, that would change things. But luckily, Agrippa has a best friend now. So that is good. Agrippa has a best friend. So let me go into why she encounters some issues right now. So her entire effect is poison trigger, stacking debuffs, damage down, strength down, just like faint, and proccing off of Rex Resonance, which is the 3 cost effect. So that's her and baby generation. So she alleviates dice. Most cases, you're gonna put her in a G-Doll or a faint comp. However, the best team of her right now is actually not a poison comp. As crazy as it seems right now. Why? Look at this constitution value at level 60 again. 203. With this, she is the highest constitution HP in the game. If this is level 60 values, and they usually give the 60 values, but they didn't label it this time. As far as I see, I might have glanced over it. But 203 constitution, this is huge. And constitution means higher health for your team. So in most cases, you can just buy her, get 1 copy, plop her in your team, and she helps your team live by having you give you a bigger HP pool. And she can alleviate the use of other units such as Karen. She's actually probably B tier. I can't put her higher than that because there are some pretty broken supports I put in A tier. I cannot say she's better than Horla. I cannot say she's better than any of the supports in A tier. Because unlike other people, I don't let her design is great affect my decision here. So this gain 3 a riff on her Exalt is great. You can just pull her E0 because all these extra effects here, you don't need. You don't need any of this. So actually, I would rate her B tier. Fine. Decision pre-release review B tier. If she surprises me on launch, I might consider her putting her AA tier. She's not going to S tier. Sorry. G Murphy exists there. Dies exists in S tier, okay? Dies would crumple Zoo into a million pieces, rip out her legs, dude. Like, it's not even a decision. Dies is used in almost every best-in-slot team in the game. Fucking Hamel is more universal than her. She's a poison trigger. So, I am having issues right now because I'm recording this a little bit at, I'm not, in a typical recording situation. So, my mic and stuff might sound a little different. So, yeah, this B tier. So, I'm going to go into in-depth. This video is going to be slightly long because I'm theory crafting stuff as well. So, poison trigger effect. So there's only a few Awakers with poison trigger effect. Again, I'm trying to get the game launch so I can give examples to show, but I don't have access to an easy source of the game. I'm currently downloading it on this device. So, poison trigger effect, all Awakers. So this buffs Agrippa, G-Doll, Nymph. Agrippa, G-Doll, Nymph, Lily. So, remember, the strongest poison applier in the game at the present moment is either blue 24, which you cannot use because 24 is only poison if you mix her with blue. And if you have Zoo, she cannot be blue 24. Go figure. And that's the strongest permanent poison damp dealer in the entire game. Now let's go to the second most powerful poison appliers in the game. It's going to be a battle between two choices. It's going to be between Daffodil and it's going to be between G-Doll boss fight. Those are the next two most powerful poison appliers in the game. Now you see my issues with rating her higher than B tier is. That's only 2 units. That's my justification. That's only 2 really strong crack units. Because Liz does not inflict as much poison compared to the meta poison damage dealers. So those are the 2 highest poison appliers in game. Daffodil and G-Doll. And if you run a Daffodil comp, you cannot run a G-Doll comp. Because they're in different realms. Ultra and Chaos. Now, if you choose to go Daffodil, Zoo, Agrippa. Problem with that. Your only poison trigger effect is going to be Zoo and Agrippa. And without that, you're going to have less survivability. So you need to put in a high value defensive unit. Such as Caster and etc. However, Caster and etc. can already clear the hardest content in the game without being placed in a poison comp. Why? Now, if you were to go into... So the only viable option... Remember, in games, you need at least 5 to 10 endgame teams. So you can't reuse units. So the only team she would logically fit in, unfortunately, is not the DAF. It's actually the Chaos realm. If you're going to play her as poison. Now I'm going to go over more ways you can play her in this kit. So let's say you go pull her all the way into the Chaos. Now you have more things to play with. Let's say you have the Lily. You have the Lily poison trigger. You have the G-Doll. You have the Nymph. You already have 3 options on what to inflict or do poison. This is not going to be that good on most boss fights unless her 3 costs. Her 3 cost guaranteed crit turns out to be scales super well because it's a guaranteed crit, just like Pikmin. So, however, this does not inflict poison, it triggers poison. That's my biggest gripe about her kit. I love all these poison triggers, okay? This is great. Who's going to inflict the poison? The strongest poison units are either Blue 24 or Blue Will. Those are the two strongest poison appliers. You've seen my Blue Will. It can inflict 12,000 to 18,000 poison a turn if you exalt and get Exalted Pyre and Oceans, for example. Those are the two. Now, if you're thinking, what about Miriam and Pharaohs? Yeah, it could work. However, Miriam, it's already going to be used in your G Murphy team. Pharaohs, without the Lemurian buffs, hits like a wet noodle, despite doing equal damage. Okay? Pharaohs hits like a wet noodle. Okay? So, that's the problem with her kit, playing her how she's intended to be played. However, based on her merits and stats and kit alone, you can just ignore how she's intended to be played. Now, I have a couple of poison theorycrafting comps, but most of the time you're going to use her, it's as a better Karen. Because this is 203 health, and her Exalt basically gives as much mana back as Karen's Exalt does. Because remember, it's gain 3 a Rift. Karen's Exalt gives Marvelous Cuisine, which is the same effect basically. However, this also inflicts her Spellbound effect. Now, let's go over her kit. I've talked about her theory crafting enough. Let's go over her actual kit. So, her entire mechanic is Betroth or Spellbound. So, Spellbound is an effect similar to fucking dog shit fucking Clem or utter strength, no, minus weak or Murphy. So, it reduces the amount of damage the enemy does by 1% when you trigger it. As shown here. Wait, let me just find it. Blah, blah, blah. I saw it somewhere. Here we go. Here we go. This is Spellbound. For each stack, fixed poison damage taken plus 5%. Damage dealt minus 1%. Stacks up to 5 times. So, when with her Enlighten, it stacks up to 10 times. Now, this is good. This is good. This, and if it's a humanoid enemy, the effect is double. You can just ignore this. Basically, the effect is double. It just does it again. So, basically, it's minus 10% damage, and then it's minus 20% damage taken. Now, most of you guys are going like, oh, that doesn't seem like a lot. Weakness and stuff, die. No, this is a separate effect than weakness. It's similar to, let's say, Murphy's Exalt. Or fucking dog shit Clem's Exalt. Second option. So, it is applied in addition to weakness. So, it is very strong. It's not as strong as Murphy, for example, but it's nice to have. And she also gives strength down as well. Right here on her 2 cost. And another good part of her kit, ignoring the Spellbound effect, is the Retain on her. Let me see. Yep, the Retain on her 3 costs. So just like Karen, you can just hold it in your hand as a deck dinner, for example. You hold it in your hand as a deck dinner, never fucking play it, and you pretend your deck is 1 card less, so you can cycle through your deck faster. So, she functions the same case scenario as Karen, but she gives you more health. So, I'm probably going to lower Karen down a tier and put her in B tier when she releases. Because she does not need all these dupe levels. So, let's go over her dupes and why they're decent but not needed. E1, Bonesick Longing. Embryo Fusion plus 15%. So it gives the Embryo Fusion to Bonesick Longing, right here, plus 15%. However, if you trigger Resonance, it's already 50%. Again, Resonance is going to be trigger without having her rouse. You need to rouse her in order to trigger Resonance here, because it's a 3 cost here. So, I'll go explain Resonance in a second here. So, Fan and Scythe, strike and defense, gain Resonant 3. So, gains 15 AoE, so it's just, you know, you can exalt more often if you trigger Resonance. I'll go over Resonance later on in the video. So, let me try to load on the game. I think the game loaded. So, Nirvana's Kiss, Spellbound attack increased from 5 to 10. Mistbound Vow, double Resonance events for Sue's next command card. Now, this is probably her most important Enlightened. Why? Because you want her to double trigger, you know, Resonance effects. I don't think I need to go over why you need to, like, double trigger and double. Yeah, it's good. But you don't need her. You can just pour E0, use her as a support. Use her as a Karen. Community already uses Karen as a Rift bot. Not playing her cards, ignoring her cards entirely, just exalting her, and just playing her thing. You just use her as a Rift bot here. Or as a con stick. Just pull one copy, put her in team that needs the mana outright. Such as in, whatever. You can put her in Carol Calf, probably, or something. Just wherever you need mana. Because this effect is good enough on his own. Like, all this is good enough in his own that she's a decent support. You can just ignore her poison kit. Because right now her poison kit is fucking pointless. So let me move this. This is just for Calf. So, her wheel. Her wheel is quite decent when we get more poison damage dealers. When we get more poison damage dealers, I'll rate it highly. Right now, her wheel is... you do it for the Caro automatic embryo fusion. This effect is the most important effect of the wheel. The fixed poison and poison trigger effect, unless you have a wailed out daffodil, you can ignore it. Now, the strongest comp you're going to see, I'm going to showcase it in the launch, is going to be her with wailed out daffodil. Arc 1 and Arc 2. That's going to be her strongest comp with a wailed out daffodil. However, most of you guys will not have a wailed out daffodil because I know you guys probably don't have the resources or a whale. But if you have a wailed out daffodil, technically that's her strongest thing because you can take advantage of the poison trigger and a daffodil during a super daffodil over exalt burst turn. This poison trigger will do numbers with a wailed out daffodil. However, a more realistic comp is going to put her in a basic, the bog standard G-Dog comp. You pull this girl's E0, put her in G-Dog comp, and just go to town. So, but that G-Dog comp doesn't make it. It just makes the comp easier, if you know what I'm saying. It doesn't make any existing comp viable. That's my current issue with the kit. Just like, it does not really brings up. She's a decent support, but she's not, you know, broken compared to the A tiers and the S tiers. So let's go over Resonance. Now, Resonance, based off of this, triggers if the following effect, if the card is preceding by X command card from Utter Awakers this turn. Resonance counts is reset after this Awaker's command card is played or at turn's end. So, based on this, it's just, you know, playing the card beforehand. It's just like the combo card of any fucking gacha card. I'll probably go over it in the actual review video more once so you guys can explain what I'm talking about, but I'm too lazy to go over it now. But, yeah, I like her kit a lot. Her rouse is also good too. It's good, but it's not mandatory. I like her kit a lot. Everything about her is, this is a resonance event. Once per turn, the first time each type trigger resonance is command card, and this is basically resonance 3 means you want to play a 3 cost beforehand, and whatnot. So this max HP damage, all that will make her age well. Like, you can put her level 1 against a level, 2 million HP enemy, and she'll still do numbers. Based solely on her kit as a support. You don't need to wail on her. You don't need to invest level up resources on her. She's just a good kit design unit overall. She's one of the few units where you don't need dupes to get her running at all. You don't need a single dupe. The dupes help. You don't need a single dupe for her. So I'm going to rate her B tier or A tier. There could be a chance that somehow this AoE damage helps you clear mob fights with her somehow. And I will rate her A tier if that's so, but it's probably B tier. It's probably B tier. It's just severely lacking in poison triggers. So hard. It is just, not triggers, appliers. Because all the meta poison appliers are in blue at the moment. So, yeah, it is a shame. And the strongest one is G-Doll, but how many of you guys have OE G-Doll, for example, How many of you guys have OE G-Doll? Not a lot, I assume. Not a lot. How many of you guys have a OE Daffodil? Not a lot, I assume. So yeah, it is a product. It's certainly an interest. I'm sorry, I'm trying to load up the game. It's not letting me. So I'll just go over it in the actual full video, but again, you can just look at the kits itself. Or I will... No, what am I talking about? I'm not going to edit the video. I'm just going to release it now. Because I need to get this video out as soon as possible. So yeah. This is the comp stat. Oh, the last comp. One of the comps you're going to use on her is probably going to be Salve. The easy Salve comp. You know why? Salve wants HP. You put it in a Salve comp for no reason other than HP value. She just sits there and looks pretty. Okay? Which she is pretty. She sits there and looks pretty for Salve for her max HP value. You are only going to use her for her body, okay? That's the only reason you're pulling for her. You pull one copy, you use her for her body as a stat stick. You degenerate fucks, okay? Use her for her body. That is all.